Whenever I talk to newbies or experienced people, there's always the question of when should I be buying crypto? When should I be selling crypto? When? Yeah, it's always such an important question. And on my channel, it's really all about making people crypto fit all around the world. Meaning I want to explain blockchain, decentralization, cryptocurrencies, and really explain the basics. Yes, we also go into the depth and details. I have an entire course on cryptography and so on and so on. But there are some really fundamental questions. And so one of those questions is always timing. And timing can be very, very difficult, but there are certain mathematic approaches in how you can kind of optimize it a bit. And I want to kind of say something up front already. We're going to go into detail and we're going to have a writing pad and we're going to go into some math. But timing is never something that you can guaranteed get perfect. That just doesn't exist. So all this is an approximation. These are some ideas based on statistics, based on probabilities. And so this is always the key concept when we talk about these things. And when we talk about this, I assume now that you sit here and you're like, you know what? I have $1,000 and I want to invest into Bitcoin. And I'm not sure, should I be investing the $1,000 right now? Should I be waiting another week? What's going to happen? And there is actually an approach to finding the right timing that is probability based. And it is called the secretary problem. And so I want to show you how this secretary problem works so that you can kind of have a bit of an idea in what you can expect. Now, don't worry, this entire thing here is in German, but that doesn't really matter because I'm going to be writing this as well again. This entire thing was kind of created by Marilyn Flood in quite some time ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. And it's basically the secretary problem that I'm going to be linking up below so you can get this here and you can look this up. And basically what he has been kind of working on is this problem if you need to hire a secretary. The major question is very, very similar. It is, well, how many should you be interviewing? How do you know who's the best one? And so on. The same question, because, of course, you can interview a lot of candidates for a very long time, and you're pretty sure that you're going to get a really, really good price, a very good secretary. And it's the same in crypto. You can be waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and the longer you wait, the odds that you can get a very good price is quite high. However, you don't know, maybe later on, there's even a better price. And it's the same with the secretary. Maybe the best secretary right now, if you wait another month and you hire another 30 more, maybe you have an even better secretary. And so here was this dilemma of waiting for time and then obviously this waiting for the best secretary. Now there's a big difference in this problem and in how we are going to be explaining this. And the big difference is in crypto, time passes and you cannot buy the time, you cannot buy the same price from yesterday. So it's always about making a decision. So we need to adapt it a little bit. But there is a certain way and an approach in how here in the secretary problem, this was approached and how this was done. And basically what he found out that there was this number called N, and this number called N, sorry, the number it's actually E, and this number E, I just wrote it down wrong here, this number E equals 2.71. And you could pretty much approximate it to the number 3, so it's approximation. And he realized that if you had the number of secretaries, so let's say you had 30 secretaries that you wanted to interview, he noticed that in the first 10, if he can, so basically this is kind of E, so you have N, and N in this case is 30, and then you have E, which is 2.71, which is approximating here to 3, because I don't want to calculate with floating numbers here, so we're going to do it a bit easier here. Basically, if you look at the very first, so basically N over E, if you look at this N over E, which is 10 in this case, and you look at the best secretary here, then what you can then do is you look at the other 2/3 that you have. So this is the first third, and then you have the second third. And then all you're trying to do statistically is to just find, out of these 2/3, find the first person that's better than this. So in this case, what you mean in the secretary problem, And statistically, and you're going to link this up on Wikipedia, and you can see the statistics. It's pretty amazing. The approximation here is very, very, very good. So if you look at the first 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look here and you figure out, okay, out of the first 1/3 is actually 2.71. But let's say this secretary is the best secretary. Then all you're doing is you're waiting for the second third, right? So here you have the second third, and here you have another third. You pick the person. As soon as you have one that's better, this is the one you go with. And if all of them here are worse, you pick this one. And statistically speaking, you're getting really, really close to being very, very, very good in picking the right person. Now, how does this work for crypto? Now, in crypto, we have a problem. And in crypto, the problem is that the prices that we had yesterday, we can't really buy today. Now, we could do this with futures or options, but leave those away. So what we have to do is, so let's say today you realize, you know what, I actually want to buy Bitcoin. So you want to buy Bitcoin. And you decide you have $1,000 that you want to invest. So here is the strategy that, in my opinion, is the best approximation in how you're going to have a very, very safe way to do it. You could third it or you could half it, but let's say you half it just to make it simpler. And you have it and you go and you say $500 I'm going to invest right now. Okay, so $500 goes in right now. And with the other $500, you go for the secretary problem. And what you do here is you pick a time frame that you're like, you know what, this is the time frame that I would love to invest the second $500. It could be on a monthly basis because maybe you want to invest every month into Bitcoin. And then you say, you know what, every month I want to invest $1,000 or $100 into Bitcoin, but you don't really know when is the best time to invest. So what you could do here now is you say, you know, the time frame is 30 days. So within the next 30 days, I want to invest Bitcoin. Now, in the first 10 days, I'm going to remove those because I have invested $500. So I'm going to use the first 10 days here. So this is the first, the second, and the third 10 days. So it's always 10 days. So in those first 10 days, all you're doing is you're watching prices. And you look at the best price. And so let's say the best price that comes out is 11,000. Let's just say. Then what you're doing is in those second 30 days, you are looking, and as soon as you get a better price, so as soon as it goes to 10.9, you take this price, in this case. Now, because then you have, on the one hand, you have one price here, and you invest your $500 here, and then you have your $500 here. Now, there are a few exceptions to this. Obviously, a few problems. One problem is, what happens if it never dips back down? Well, if it never dips back down, what I would recommend is I would probably just wait it out until it dips down again. It will always dip back down. Trust me. There's so many people said it will never dip back down under 10. It will. It will never dip back down under 12. It will. Right? And so if your time frame is not super long, let's say you're not talking over months and years, but in this case you're talking over days, prices fluctuate enough. I mean, there has not been one price that hasn't been dipped under within 30 days. I mean, you know, the fluctuation, even when we had this bull run, prices always dip down. And when you have this shoot up, then you actually have to worry a lot because afterwards we have these massive setbacks. And so if you try this out this way, right, this obviously works really, really well when you look for regular investing or when you look for regular times, then when you try this out, it just puts a lot of rationalism into the entire investing approach. Because you can say, you know what, for example, every month I want to invest $100 because every month. I don't want to put much time in, but I don't know what day. Okay, great. So you split it and $50 goes in right away. So as soon as you get the money, it could be in the first of the month, so whenever, right away. And then you watch for the first 10 days. So the first 10 days, you watch. And you set the price pattern for this. And let's say the lowest price was the 11K. Then in the second and third 10 days, so in total 20 days, you look for the lower price to here. So as soon as it dips below, that's when you buy. It's not a perfect way. This is not about being perfect. The secretary problem is not about being perfect. It is about giving you the mathematical way in how to kind of put away your emotions so you don't freak out and you're like, oh, it could go cheaper, it could go more expensive. The trick here, and it works the same way in selling, right? The trick here is that you're not trying to find the cheapest price. You're not trying to find the best secretary. You're trying to find, with the time, the best possible. And that's the very, very big difference. Because if you're trying to find the cheapest price, you're hardly ever gonna get it. If you're trying to sell the most expensive, you will hardly ever get it. The key is to buy cheaper than you're gonna sell. And with this approach, there's no guarantee that you're gonna be doing it. But with this approach, the odds of you doing it are going up. And that at the end is all you're trying to do. You're trying to get the emotions out of the way, and you're trying to put some rational math into the entire concept. And this way, it's definitely one way that works really, really well. I've seen this in a lot of investment approaches where people really just do this. As soon as it goes below an average price before, you buy, because it's obviously cheaper than anything that you had before. And that is a very, very key approach in this. Especially works really well in investing over time in regular periods. Let me know what you think about all this. Let me know if you have any questions. By the way, at Cake, my company, we are gonna open up for everyone. We have a couple hundred people right now in user testing. It's been going really well. By the end of this week, we're gonna open it up to everyone. Link is down below in case you're interested and you wanna sign up. So you better be signed up for this. And I hope I'll see you on our platform. Please subscribe, share this. If you like this stuff, then yeah, let me know. I'm gonna look into the chat. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Yours truly, thank you, Julian. Great, let me look through some questions. It doesn't really make a difference because you could buy at 11 and not at 10.9. So the problem, Max, in this case is you don't know what's the lowest price in the first 10 days, right? You don't know what's the lowest. So you give yourself a bit of time, in this case 10 days, and you look at the lowest. Of course, looking back it's always easy, but you don't know if it's the lowest. So a lot of people are always like, should I buy now? Should I buy now? Maybe it's gonna go cheaper. So you need to find this timeline when you're like, this is when I'm gonna buy. So of course it would make the most sense if you know you wanna buy at 11, but it could fluctuate and you don't know what the 11 is. But in theory, you're completely right. It's the same as with the secretary problem. You don't have to go into this third part, in the second 2/3, because you could have just picked this one secretary, but you don't know which one it's gonna be. So you just give it a certain prefixed time frame and you're like, that's when I'm gonna be observing. I already have some money in, so that's my first stake, and afterwards that's my second stake. So that's yeah. Okay, true. Yeah. Holger, the general opinion about Bitcoin is the ship has already sailed. It's already too late to join in order to achieve real big time profits. Talking about 10x and 100x and more. I disagree with you on this, Holger. I think there's definitely there's still, in my opinion, there's still definitely a 10x in. 100x, I agree, that could be a stretch, but there's enough models that also say that there's 100x possible. 100x I think is a stretch, but I think 10x, why not? It will be a macro hedge. Oh, I mean, definitely on certain parts. Andrew says, excellent strategy. Thank you so much. Okay. I hope all the questions got answered. I'm not saying the strategy is perfect. There is no perfect investment strategy. Otherwise, you would have a guarantee to make money. It's all about increasing the odds for you. And that's what this is all about. So I hope that gives you some value. Thanks so much. All the other channels, please comment, follow, subscribe, share, retweet. And I appreciate it already. Thanks. See you at the next video. Julian, bye-bye. Thank you.